Hello and welcome to my third race. This is stage 3 of Crit Club, and it's the LaGuardia loop of the New York map. And this is actually the third time that I've done this race now. First two times I did it, I had problems with my computer. The first time, the capturing software, the video it produced was like super choppy from about the halfway mark. It was just completely unusable. And then on the second time I did the race, I had the same issue, but the computer actually wigged out a bit more, and Zwift crashed like just after the finish line, like 2 seconds after the finish line, and actually messed up the activity in Zwift. But luckily, the result was captured on Zwift Power, so at least it kind of recognises that I finished the race. But this time, I did actually do slightly better on the result. So you know what the Lord giveth and all that. So not the fastest start on this one. The first time I did this race, the whole race felt much quicker, and definitely the start was quicker than this one. I actually finished that first time quicker than I did this one, so it was definitely a slightly quicker race. But the nice thing was I managed to stay in zone 3 for like the first couple of laps on this. I was feeling pretty good on this one, so the pace obviously suited me a bit better. And I'll skip ahead now to where something happened, and I'll just say this race felt a bit more action packed than the others I've done. They've been kind of pretty like consistent all the way through, and then it's just a sprint finish at the end. Whereas this one felt a bit more like there was more. Well, basically there were more moves were made in this race than in the previous ones I've done, and I found that quite interesting, even if I was on the wrong side of a couple of bits of them. So it's all a learning process. So I've skipped ahead now to the third lap. It's like a quarter of a way through the third lap or so. And as we come over this little roller here, so I use that power up. And as we come over this roller here, you'll see a guy on the front. He uses an aero boost. This guy in with the orange cap. He uses an aero boost here, and he does make a move. And at first, at this point, I'm just thinking, okay, he's just using his boost and nothing more to it. But then this other guy goes with him, and still no one reacts. And at this point, I'm thinking it's the same thing. I'm not going to react to this. It'll get closed down. But as the seconds kind of move tick by, I'm starting to think, well, actually, we're like, halfway through the race, and there's only two and a bit laps to go. Maybe that was a pretty good move, and no one's really kind of going crazy at this point to catch them. And so I think now I'm starting to think, okay, we need to do something about this, because it's like, I don't know, it's like 2 seconds, 3 seconds, this gap. So we do need to put a bit of an effort in to catch them. And thankfully, like, everyone else kind of seems to think the same. And but the interesting thing is that this move sets up another move that happens on the back of it. So you can see now the power graph at the bottom. I'm starting to put in a bit more of an effort here, and there's that guy at the front of this group. He's kind of going for it a bit. We're all putting a bit of an effort in here, but it's taken a little while for us to close them down. I'm sorry for the quality here. It's like really up and down, the quality of this video. It does improve. So you can see that we start to close this down, catch on to them, but it sets up this next move where people manage to kind of take advantage of, presumably people are thinking everyone's just put in a big effort there, they're trying to recover, and it's a downhill bit. They're going to be taking it easy. Now's a good time to go. I can't see any of that because I'm at the back of this group and it's over this roller, and it's not until we start to turn this corner here, and so we go over the roller and we start to turn the corner, and now I'm starting to kind of realize that, crap, look at this line, it's like really stretched out. And when we get to like this start finish line, I realize, crap, a break has happened and I'm on the wrong side of it. And so I've got to put in an effort, because if I don't do something, then it's race over for me. That's a big enough group, it looks like, that a break could stick. They could get away from us. And if I just wait for everyone in this group to react, then that could be race over. So I've got got to kind of take control my own destiny and put an effort in. So I'll start to, you can see the graph down the bottom there going into the red, and I'm putting in an effort here. I'm not sure if the group are going with me or not, but I'm just assuming that they are. So I just kind of keep on going, and I don't mind that if I'm dragging a couple with me, because I need to do it. You know, basically I need to make the move. So I'll just go for it. So yeah, it's a kind of pretty big effort, and you can see my heart rate's kind of pretty high there. 188 gets up to. So I'm well into zone 5 at this point. My max is like 192, so I'm not far off my max heart rate. But we do manage to catch back on, and so at this point I'm thinking, I need to recover. Haven't got long left in the race to do that, so I need to do what I can. But I'm also mindful that we've already had a couple of breakaway attempts, and this race has been a bit more volatile than other ones I've been in. So I've kind of learnt my lesson that sticking at the back of the pack is all good for recovery, but it can mean that you miss when moves are happening, and it doesn't take long for them to actually develop into something. So yeah, there's a risk with it. So lesson learnt there, I suppose. But thankfully, it kind of stays mostly together until the end now. So I do get to, you can see my heart rate's coming down. I get back into zone 4. So there's that. But yes, it kind of stays together until the end now. So I'll skip ahead again. So I skipped ahead now to the final lap, and we're in like the final 1.5 kilometers. And you can see that guy off the front, and I'm watching him thinking like, oh no, is he going already? Is he going to go long? And he kind of does a bit, not like bonkers, but he is clearly kind of putting in a bit of a dig there. And so I'm just, because this race has been more volatile than the other ones that I've done, I'm just kind of being mindful that anything can happen at this point. So I tried to stick with this front group a bit, so you can see the red down the bottom graph. I'm not kind of taking it super easy. I'm not just relying on the group closing it down. I'm going to kind of be prepared to go myself. But it goes by so quick. So now we're into the final kilometer, and I'm just mindful that at any point now, anyone could make a move here. So the previous races I did, it was like the final 300 meters, people actually made a move. But here, people like that guy went with like a bit more than a kilometer to go, and you'll see as a guy comes up on the right here, around this corner, fires off an arrow, and he really goes for it. And so I'm thinking, okay, I've got to be prepared to go. And I think as we turn this corner here, it's like I'm now really like, crap, he's way out in front, and everyone starts firing off their arrows. And I've got a feather, which is, I suppose it's okay, but I realize I've got to put in a move now, because otherwise I'm not going to make top 10. So I start to put in a bit of an effort here, and I haven't got an awful lot left in the tank at this point. I'm really feeling it. The heart rate's not terrible, but my kind of power is a bit down. And at this point I'm thinking, oh crap, I'm not going to make up any spaces, but any places. But I do manage to make a couple back, and like I'm thinking I'm never going to catch that guy, but I'll stick with it. And I do manage to just pip him at the line. And yeah, I was pretty pleased with that. The finish being a bit stronger than I thought it would be. And my power there is kind of not too bad. 3.5 watts per kilo is an average, pretty good. Average heart rate is not bonkers. And if past me scrolls up, there we go. So 4th place. So I was really happy with that. I was really happy with the finish. I was happy with the position, the finishing position, and happy with the heart rate and the power. So yeah, pretty good race for me. So even though the first 2 times I did this race had kind of ended in a disaster with the computer, I was pretty pleased with this one, that it seemed to have recorded okay, and the position was pretty good. So yeah, real happy with that. So let's have a look at Zwift power, and you can see here I did like 3.5 watts per kilo for that race, and the guy who won it did 3 watts per kilo. And maybe you can't kind of draw these conclusions from it. Maybe this is the wrong conclusion to draw. But it seemed like he's probably racing a bit smarter than I am. And if you look at the normalized power versus the average power, so my average watts for the race is 260, and my normalized power is 262, whereas his average watts is 215 and his normalized power is 270, and it's the same for second place and even third. They've got kind of much bigger gap between their average and their normalized power. So I think they're doing surges at various places, and I'm not. And maybe they're doing them quite judiciously, and I'm just kind of treating this like some sort of almost like kind of steady state ride. And then again, you can see this with the you can see a difference in the 15-second power and the 30-second power. So the 15-second power, I'm doing 6.8 watts per kilo, which is like it's like chicken feed compared to the top guy is 10.6 watts per kilo. And then again, you get to the 30-second and more chicken feed. I'm doing 5.7, and he's doing 9.3. And I mean, even again at the 1 minute power, I'm a long way off him. It's not until we get to the 5 minute or the 20 minute that I'm doing the higher numbers. So yeah, I think I'm like just not racing smartly. I think they're probably kind of a bit more proactive, and I'm a bit reactive, and I probably need to change that. I probably need to get if not become more proactive. I think I need to get better at seeing when moves are happening and like going with them early, and maybe kind of being a bit braver. So like there was a guy who made a move about 1.5 kilometers away from the finish line. Maybe like have a go at doing something like that with, if someone does that, have a go with them, see what happens, change it up. Anyway, so the other thing is the quality of the video that I wanted to mention. The recording is kind of crappy, and like I said at the start, I didn't have long before the start of the race to take the old graphics card out and get the new one in, and I had to just kind of put some settings into the capturing software that I thought would record it without crashing at the end or getting too choppy and unusable. So I kind of erred on the side of caution there, and I appreciate the video looks a bit crappy as a consequence. So I'll get a chance to work on that before the next race. And finally, I've added like I use my webcam on my laptop to capture me riding. I think I'll probably prefer to see that on some of the videos that I've watched. But it'd be cool if you could let me know if that's like, is that important? Does that matter? Is that kind of worthwhile adding in, or does it not really matter? And I appreciate the lighting on that is also kind of crappy, but it's really hard in this room. It's really nice to ride in, but for like video calls and capturing video, it's a bit crappy, but I'll see what I can do about that. But otherwise, yeah, thanks very much for watching, and I'll get another effort in on the next race when it comes out. I think it starts on like Monday. So at some point next week, I'll get another effort in and hopefully get a better looking video. But until then, thanks very much.